talking crazy about you. They said they
brother,
were gonna
brother,
smash you.
who cares, brother? Who cares, brother? Who cares? Today, smash.
The MMA world has been absolutely rocked to its core by a shocking turn of events. Ilia Topuria, the featherweight sensation, has just stunned everyone with an audacious call-out that nobody saw coming. And the response? None other than the legendary Khabib Nurmagomedov has fired back with a venomous reply that's sending shockwaves through the entire fighting community. Khabib made his position crystal clear with ice in his veins. He doesn't care one bit who steps up to the challenge. His team stands ready to completely demolish any opponent foolish enough to test them. Looking back at the spark that ignited this explosive rivalry, Ilia Topuria, who's making the ambitious and daring jump to the lightweight division, didn't waste a single breath with pleasantries. His intentions couldn't possibly be more clear. He's hunting the absolute elite of the elite now, and Khabib Nurmagomedov stands tall and imposing at the very top of his hit list. According to the... Make no mistake about Topuria's intentions here. He's not chasing after just any ordinary opponent to pad his record or make a quick payday. He's setting his sights on capturing the ultimate prize, a fighter universally celebrated as one of the greatest warriors the sport has ever witnessed. With that immaculate, flawless, undefeated record and remarkable sportsmanship that's become legendary in MMA circles, there simply couldn't be a more perfect or more prestigious adversary for Topuria to test his skills against. This is about legacy, this is about greatness, this is about etching his name in the history books alongside the immortals of the sport. Supporting his... Standing firmly and unwaveringly behind his fighter, Topuria's manager released an impassioned, powerful statement that left no room for doubt. He emphasized with unwavering conviction that after the series of absolutely jaw-dropping, mind-blowing performances Topuria has delivered in his recent fights, performances that have not just matched but completely outshined many reigning lightweight champions, there is simply no valid reason, no justifiable excuse to deny him this golden opportunity to compete in the prestigious 155-pound division. The evidence is overwhelming, the case is clear, and the time for this challenge has arrived. But
you know, I don't really come on here that much anymore. I kind of like stay to myself, but when certain managers come out there and talk about a guy's too small, shouldn't move up, needs to fight someone else, let's make sure we just get the facts straight. He knocked out Volk in his first opportunity to knock him out. The fight wasn't close. When your client fought Volk, you struggled with him the first time. Don't forget that. Second, he knocks him out, and then he knocks out Max Holloway, who happens to be probably one of the greatest 45ers of all time. I'm not sure why he doesn't deserve a shot at 155. But I don't blame you. I wouldn't want my client to fight Ilia Topuria either.
But here comes the dramatic twist in this unfolding saga. Before Topuria can even dream of dethroning the lightweight GOAT, he has some serious unfinished business that demands his immediate attention. The Georgian warrior's first monumental challenge at 155 pounds won't be against Khabib himself. Instead, he's on a collision course with the current pound-for-pound king, the unstoppable force that is Islam Makhachev. Topuria has called him out repeatedly, relentlessly, and with growing intensity, openly admitting that Islam represents one of the most formidable and dangerous opponents he could possibly face at this critical, career-defining point in his journey. If Topuria wants to command any respect, any recognition whatsoever in the lightweight division, this is the seemingly insurmountable mountain he must somehow find a way to climb. With dreams of becoming a two-division world champion burning like wildfire in his heart, igniting his every move and decision, Topuria passionately declared with absolute conviction that if given this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, he will prove to everyone, the doubters, the believers, and the entire fighting world, that he possesses the rare combination of skills, heart, and determination necessary to defeat one of the most feared and respected fighters of this generation. The fire in his eyes as he makes these declarations is unmistakable. This isn't just talk. This is a man on a mission.
So if they tell me that they want me to keep defending the belt in the 145 division, maybe I will do that. But if they let me go up in 155, I will do that also. Really very glad. What I want to do is to move up to the 155 because I know by fact that I can become a two-weight world champion because Islam He's a great fighter. He's the #1 pound for pound for the people, for me. It's me, myself. I'm the best fighter in the world. So I know that I can do with him whatever I want to do because I know that I'm much better than him.
Sharing his thoughts, Topuria didn't just challenge Islam to a fight, he launched a full-scale, blistering attack on his entire fighting philosophy and style. He boldly and controversially called out Islam and his fellow Dagestani fighters as nothing but one-dimensional brutes completely lacking the technical finesse, fluidity, and precise control that other truly elite fighters have mastered and perfected. Topuria fired off with unwavering confidence that while these fighters can certainly be devastating and seemingly unstoppable when they manage to gain the upper hand early, absolutely everything changes dramatically when they face determined, intelligent resistance from the opening bell. When opponents can effectively throw them off their preferred game plan early and disrupt their rhythm, Topuria claims these fighters completely lose their composure and mental fortitude, desperately searching for answers that simply aren't there. According to his scathing assessment, this thoroughly exposes their fundamental lack of adaptive technical skills needed to survive and thrive in truly competitive back-and-forth battles at the highest level. These weren't just casual observations, they were calculated, surgical strikes aimed at the very heart of the Dagestani fighting identity that has dominated the sport for years.
If you see fighting any of them, the thing they need when they go inside the octagon, in the first contact, they want to feel that they dominate you and they start to build a confidence since that. But if they feel in the first contact, in the first round, but that they can control you, that it's very competitive, they head goes down. All the competitive fights, they lose.
After Topuria's explosive, incendiary comments blazed through mainstream media channels, speculation erupted like wildfire across the entire MMA community. The burning question on everyone's lips: would Islam actually accept this audacious challenge, or would he dismiss it as unworthy of his time? Many insiders wondered with genuine curiosity what Islam would realistically have to gain from accepting such a fight against a fighter moving up from a lower weight class. Echoing the passionate sentiments of many hardcore fans and respected experts alike, Khabib Nurmagomedov explained with characteristic bluntness that while he personally has absolutely no issue whatsoever with Topuria moving up to the lightweight division and calling out top contenders to announce his arrival, the sheer expectation of immediately fighting the division's biggest and most accomplished name shows what he considers an outrageous, almost delusional level of entitlement from the Georgian fighter. The tone in Khabib's voice revealed his genuine frustration with what he clearly views as a fighter trying to cut the line ahead of more deserving contenders.
So you know what? I want to go up to 155 pounds, fight the #1 contender, and then if he wins that, then he fights Islam. I think that's good, brother. I think he deserves.
I think if he move up and he beat somebody like Dustin Poirier or Charles Oliveira.
Khabib Nurmagomedov didn't just speak his mind, he absolutely unleashed his true feelings with remarkable intensity. He highlighted with growing frustration how after Islam's controversial, hard-fought battles with Alexander Volkanovski, fights where Volkanovski made a similar ambitious weight jump up from featherweight, Islam received almost no credit or recognition from the MMA community despite delivering truly spectacular, dominant performances that showcased his complete mastery of the sport. Khabib furiously defended his protege and friend, saying Islam has unfairly become nothing more than a convenient stepping stone for opportunistic, smaller fighters desperately wanting to make their mark and build their name in the lightweight division without paying their dues. He stressed with visible emotion that this recurring pattern has been absolutely terrible and detrimental for Islam's rightful path to the greatness and recognition he so richly deserves. To avoid repeating this frustrating and unfair situation yet again, Khabib insisted with unwavering conviction that if Topuria truly wants to prove himself as a legitimate, serious contender worthy of the ultimate challenge, he first needs to thoroughly test himself against other established lightweight stars like Dustin Poirier and Charles Oliveira before even thinking about stepping into the octagon with a champion of Islam's caliber. The message was crystal clear. Earn your shot, don't just demand it. Islam Makhachev completely agrees with his mentor's perspective and wisdom on this contentious issue. While he genuinely respects Topuria's impressive skills and wouldn't necessarily mind facing him eventually under the right circumstances, after everything he's experienced and endured in recent years fighting smaller opponents who moved up in weight, he's absolutely determined not to repeat that frustrating pattern. No matter how impressively or dominantly he wins these types of matchups, Islam firmly believes he'll never receive the recognition and respect he truly deserves if he continues fighting 145-pound fighters moving up in weight, even prestigious, accomplished names like Ilia Topuria.
Come
talking about coming to 155, and you're like, I'm tired of these little people coming up to fight me.
That makes sense. Give the chance third time from the same guy. Okay, I beat the Volkanovski twice. People still say you beat small guy.
Yeah.
He's not your weight division. If I beat Topuria, it's gonna be the same thing. Everybody gonna talk same.
Islam's strategy moving forward is crystal clear and meticulously thought out. Focus intensely on building his own spectacular legacy rather than creating convenient opportunities for opportunistic challengers that might potentially derail his carefully planned path to historical greatness. Although Islam seems genuinely reluctant and hesitant about this potential high-risk matchup and has repeatedly expressed serious interest in moving up himself for more championship belts in higher weight classes, many passionate fans and seasoned analysts believe that with the right financial offer from UFC and proper conditions that protect his interests, Islam and his dedicated team might eventually accept this challenge despite their reservations. This possibility seems especially likely considering UFC President Dana White appears to have this potential super fight prominently featured on his radar as one of his next big money investments that could captivate the entire fighting world. Dana's known for making offers that fighters find difficult to refuse, and the commercial potential of this clash of styles and personalities could prove too tempting to pass up for all parties involved.
If I go up, takes a second belt, it's gonna be in the future, you know. I just have same dream.
Yeah.
I want to be double champ. I want to be like you know.
Breaking down this explosive, rapidly evolving situation surrounding Topuria's shocking decision to vacate his hard-earned UFC featherweight title, prominent and well-connected MMA journalist Ariel Helwani offered fascinating insider insights into what many in the fighting community initially perceived as a sudden, completely out-of-nowhere move that blindsided everyone. According to detailed statements carefully gathered from all parties closely involved in the decision-making process, Ariel suggested multiple compelling motivations driving Topuria's career-altering choice. These factors include the undeniable potential for significantly greater fame and recognition in a more prominent division, plus the increasingly brutal, health-threatening weight cuts Topuria has silently endured in recent months, a genuine physical struggle confirmed with obvious concern by his dedicated trainers and trusted inner circle. The picture Ariel paints is of a fighter making a calculated career move rather than an impulsive decision, which adds another fascinating layer to this unfolding drama.
Number one, my understanding is the UFC isn't a fan of this right now. They're not a huge fan of champion versus champion and one guy keeps the belt. If only because they got a lot of pay-per-views to fill. They're trying to put on, you know, the most stacked cards with the most title fights, and they don't like holding up divisions. That has often been their stance, which has been confirmed today by his manager Malki Kawa. The weight cuts were getting really hard. The weight cuts were really getting hard. He's fought at 155. He's scored wins at 155. And he just wants to fight at 155.
Directly addressing widespread claims that Topuria's statements about moving up came completely without warning, Ariel revealed with journalist precision that this narrative simply isn't supported by the facts. Months ago, well before this current situation exploded, Topuria was already clearly hinting at his intentions of moving up to the 155-pound division, but industry insiders and prominent figures disappointingly mocked the very idea and harshly criticized it as nothing more than a transparent publicity stunt designed to generate headlines. Now, with official confirmation from UFC headquarters removing all doubt, everyone suddenly realizes with embarrassment that this was Topuria's genuine plan and intention all along. This revelation completely changes the context of the current situation and raises serious questions about why so many dismissed Topuria's earlier statements instead of taking the fighter at his word when he first outlined his ambitions.
I think some of us owe Ilia Topuria an apology, because I think when he was talking about this a month or two ago, we were like, come on, man, you only defended the title once. There are still some fights out there. There's the rematch against Volkanovski. There's a Diego Lopez fight. On and on it goes. You're not going to really move up. You're not going to vacate the title. And he was telling the truth.
His famously deep connections and insider sources throughout MMA circles, Ariel Helwani dropped an absolute bombshell revelation that sent shockwaves through the fighting community. The dream matchup between Topuria and Islam is actually much closer to being finalized than anyone outside the negotiations realizes. According to his reliable sources, the respective teams are currently engaged in intensive negotiations regarding potential dates, with International Fight Week or sometime in early June emerging as the most likely time frame for this monumental clash, while carefully and professionally avoiding any definitive statements due to the notoriously strict UFC regulations about announcing fights before the promotion is ready. Ariel confidently indicated that Dana White himself will likely announce the official date with typical fanfare in the coming days once all the complex paperwork and contractual details are finally completed. This isn't just speculation. This is coming from one of the most connected and reliable sources in the entire sport.
I hope that it could happen as soon as International Fight Week. That's not 100%. That's probably the reason why they didn't announce it yesterday. It could happen later in the year. There's a ton more pay-per-views post-June. What is it, the 28th? There's one in mid to late July, then there's August, and of course there's Abu Dhabi in October. It feels International Fight Week worthy, if you ask me. This feels like a gigantic fight, a super fight, a featherweight champion moving up to fight the best lightweight in the world. And
further adding to his opinion, Ariel also thoughtfully shared potential backup plans and alternative scenarios that could unfold if this dream matchup tragically falls through for any unforeseen reason. However, he emphasized with absolute certainty that the Topuria versus Islam confrontation remains the absolute best and most exciting option given their increasingly tense history and the remarkable fact that both exceptional fighters are currently at the absolute peak of their physical abilities and fighting careers. This perfect timing adds incredible, compelling depth to a potential showdown that would not only generate massive, unprecedented revenue due to overwhelming international fan interest, but would also give both proud warriors the precious opportunity to settle their bitter, intensifying rivalry once and for all in the most definitive way possible. Inside the unforgiving octagon where words mean nothing and actions determine everything, the stakes couldn't possibly be higher for both men's legacies.
Any mixed emotions with all these announcements. Bummed for Volk, happy he's still getting a title fight, happy for Diego Lopez, what a story. Excited for Ilia Topuria, excited for the opportunity, and if I'm being honest, Ilia versus Islam interests me a lot more right now than Islam versus Charles too. Am I crazy?
No.
We saw it. I don't think we were going to see a different result. This is fresh. This is fun. This feels special.
Islam's legendary, world-renowned trainer, Javier Mendez, emphatically echoed similar confident sentiments to those expressed by Ariel Helwani and other respected analysts throughout the MMA world. While nothing is officially confirmed or announced yet, Javier genuinely believes, based on his extensive experience, that this will likely be the next blockbuster, must-see event, drawing this conclusion from analyzing cryptic but telling hints carefully dropped by Dana White and other high-ranking UFC officials in recent interviews and social media posts. Discussing Islam's personal perspective on the developing situation, Javier explained with evident pride that they aren't remotely fazed or concerned by this potential high-profile matchup at all, displaying total confidence in their preparation and abilities. Though Islam genuinely prefers to focus on even more challenging opponents who would further cement his legacy, Javier insists with absolute certainty that his disciplined fighter would never back down from any opportunity presented to him. He'll always rise magnificently to any challenge, like the fierce, uncompromising pound-for-pound warrior he has proven himself to be throughout his remarkable career.
You know, if he can beat Michael Chandler, like you're saying, in impressive fashion, you know, yeah, his name needs to be deserving because, again, it's all about eyeballs. And we all know Paddy the Baddy draws. People want to see him. So, you know, he has a big say in what's going to happen as he is successful in his next fight. So, yes, I mean, you're giving me a lot of interesting scenarios here that I'm looking, wow. So let's see what happens, you know, but I did read where Dana said he's working on that fight. So for me, I'm not going to say that fight's made just based on Dana said we're working on it. That's not done.
During his comprehensive interview, Javier also directly addressed the swirling media speculation and skepticism about whether Islam could adequately prepare on relatively short notice for such a dangerous, uniquely skilled opponent with knockout power, dismissing these concerns with the absolute confidence that comes from years of training elite champions. Javier respectfully acknowledged that while Topuria is undoubtedly an exceptional, gifted talent capable of remarkable achievements in MMA that deserve genuine respect, there simply isn't a fighter competing in today's era who can truly match Islam's complete, well-rounded abilities when he's fully prepared. Javier pointedly emphasized that unlike many fighters who balloon up in weight between camps, Islam maintains peak physical condition year-round through strict discipline and unwavering dedication to his craft, and genuinely only needs about 2 months focused notice to prepare a comprehensive game plan for any fighter on the planet, regardless of their perceived strength, speed, or technical skill in the eyes of fans and odds makers. This remarkable professional approach to the sport separates him from many other fighters who require much longer camps to reach their optimal performance level.
I mean, anybody. I mean, all Islam needs is 2 months to prepare for anybody. He's not gonna care who he fights. You know, you make 155. You know, we all have the same attitude. We fight. You know, you pay us. This is who you're offering. He's not gonna say no. If that's who they offer, that's who's been worked out, is who's on the table for Islam. That's what Islam's gonna do. That's just the way he is. He's a true warrior. He's not somebody that's gonna say, no, give me somebody else. No, he's gonna fight. That's the way it is. You know, we're a champion. We're number one for a reason. We're not supposed to reject any person they throw in front of you. You know, he will do what a champion's supposed to do.
Joining Islam and Khabib in vocal opposition to this proposed fight is outspoken MMA personality and former title challenger Chael Sonnen. With his characteristic bluntness, he passionately argues that this recurring, predictable pattern of using Islam as a convenient stepping stone to introduce 145-pound champions to the lightweight division isn't just becoming stale and tedious for increasingly frustrated fans. It's starting to genuinely irritate many respected voices throughout the sport, including himself. The repetitive nature of this scenario has become almost comical to many observers. While Chael thoughtfully acknowledges there's nothing inherently wrong with ambitious fighters moving up in weight class to seek better competition and bigger challenges, something he respects, he finds it completely absurd and presumptuous to expect an immediate shot at the division's biggest star without first proving yourself against other established lightweight contenders who have been grinding in the division for years. This sense of entitlement strikes Chael as disrespectful to both the champion and the other deserving contenders who have earned their positions through consistent performances against top competition.
Done the favor to the 45-pounders.
Questioning with investigative precision the authenticity and true motivations behind Topuria's relentless, media-friendly callouts, Chael pointed out something truly puzzling that many observers have overlooked. Based on both fighters' public comments over recent months, there doesn't seem to be any genuine personal animosity or bad blood that would logically explain Topuria's laser-focused fixation on Islam, mentioning him prominently in virtually every interview opportunity regardless of the original question. This manufactured rivalry feels forced and opportunistic to many seasoned observers of the sport. The veteran fighter also raised legitimate suspicions about Topuria's claimed weight-cutting struggles that supposedly necessitate this move up in weight. Looking objectively at Topuria's physical appearance and physique, Chael notes he appears to be the perfect ideal specimen for the featherweight division where he currently reigns as champion, making it particularly strange and questionable that he'd willingly abandon his hard-earned championship throne to pursue a single fight against a seemingly indifferent opponent like Islam who has shown minimal interest in the matchup. This peculiar decision raises serious, legitimate questions that demand convincing answers in the coming days before fans fully embrace this narrative.
Are accurate. Topuria is a perfect size. Featherweight, as a matter of fact, and he doesn't have anything personal with Islam. And we're not going to make that ask of Islam 3 times. But what is going on with Ilia Topuria? I mean, I think that's a fair question too. Why is every time I see his name, he's attached to Islam? Nobody wants to see the fight. Nobody's encouraging that fight. And Topuria won't stop bringing up the fight.
Chael highlighted another perplexing, contradictory detail that many have conveniently overlooked. Just mere days ago, media outlets and high-ranking UFC officials were actively, enthusiastically discussing a potential mega rematch between Topuria and former champion Alexander Volkanovski that had fans genuinely excited. So what exactly happened behind closed doors during that incredibly short time frame that mysteriously pushed Topuria to suddenly change course so dramatically? Why not patiently wait for more suitable, logical fights in his current division rather than hastily jumping to the considerably larger lightweight division to challenge someone who has repeatedly shown minimal interest or enthusiasm in accepting the fight? The timing simply doesn't add up for many analytical observers of the sport.
Is there nobody at 145? Somewhere we were told that it was going to be Volkanovski, but that was after Lopez had called out Volk and even had information that it was going to be an interim championship fight, and that was resisted by you guys. You're going, hey, Lopez should be going in right now. not the guy that got woken up in his last two. Like, I understand all of these things, but we were still told it's going to be that. So where's the fight?
So in the end, what do you think about this potential super fight that has the entire MMA world buzzing with excitement and speculation? How do you feel about all the increasingly bold callouts Topuria has been making recently? Are they justified based on his accomplishments or premature given his limited time as champion? Do you believe a high-stakes showdown between Islam Makhachev and Ilia Topuria would ultimately be good for the sport and both fighters' legacies? Or do you worry it might negatively impact both fighters' carefully built careers in the long run for different reasons? This is truly one of the most fascinating potential matchups in recent memory, with compelling arguments on both sides. Make sure to share your thoughtful opinions and predictions in the comments section below. We read every single one and love hearing your passionate perspectives. If you enjoyed this comprehensive breakdown of the developing situation, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more in-depth MMA analysis and breaking news as this dramatic story continues to unfold. The fighting world waits with bated breath to see what happens next in this captivating saga of ambition, pride, and championship dreams.